Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time On Target morning brief. We're investing fighter pilot precision on a daily basis. Have a really cool show today because there is a new IPO coming up. Some of you have talked to me about this. Others have not mentioned it because we've been working on other things. But remember, IPO is the initial public offering, and the company that's IPOing that's starting to trade today is called DIDI, which is basically the China. It's not a perfect comparison, but a rough comparison to the Chinese Uber, right? A ride sharing uh, company out there. Obviously, Uber has been wildly popular. Many use it on a daily basis. You can see in the background, I am in Vegas right now. I use Uber probably twice a day out here, so they're getting my money to be able to haul me around, right? And I think it's better than, it's a better deal for me because I don't have to have a car, and it's a better deal for them because they get to use their own personal vehicle to make some money. So really is kind of a fantastic business model. You know that Uber takes a few bucks out of each ride and the driver keeps the rest. Is it worth it to the driver? Well, that's a driver-based decision, right? Depending on what their car and whether they want to do it and the value of their time and all that. So really is a very cool business model and prep to make a lot of money. But DD is going to start trading under the ticker DIDI, and we don't know what time today. This isn't a must own. It isn't I didn't shoot it out to everybody that I know as far as clients. But it is something to consider as far as your portfolio. It is high risk. Whenever you invest in anything China, you have to think, okay, well, communist country, Chinese government can crack down on things at any point in time, which makes it a little more problematic, right? Alibaba, obviously, the Chinese Amazon has run into some issues because of this. KWeb, which is the uh, index fund that I use for all things Chinese technology, which I think they'll put shares of DD into this fund as well, because that counts, right, with all the app usage as far as getting your car. So, been a challenging space, if you will. Those are, if you look at your account, and if you're with me, when things you're like, why everything is in the green, except for like Alibaba and KWeb. So, challenging environment. So at your own risk, do your own diligence. But I will tell you that I'm going to add some shares to my portfolio today, not a ton. We're going to go over some IPOs and their recent performances today. So you can kind of see that these things can go either way. They don't just print money like they did for a while. The Coinbase IPO was one that did not print money, right? It lost money. Everybody who took place in the IPO still down money, and we're 2 months later after the Coinbase IPO, maybe 3 months later. So it's been a while, but we'll take a look at those charts today. As far as our question of the day, a lot of people's houses are increasing significantly. So you can do a refinance, you can do a cash out refi, you can do a home equity line of credit if you want to take that move up. If you've moved up a couple $100,000 and you really want to get a couple $100,000 cheap and put it to work for you, you can get a home equity loan that's going to be tied to the LIBOR rate that really is probably LIBOR plus a quarter, maybe 50. So you're looking at 3.5%, 4%, 5 if your credit isn't super tight. But pretty get your hands on some money that you might be able to turn around if you're servicing any debt out there. Turn around and kill that off, and say thank you to your house. Or if you have other projects you want to work on, or if you want to invest it again, you'd have to to make a 5% return, you have to invest it pretty aggressively. You can't just put it in municipal bonds because you'd lose money out on that trade. But yeah, there are things to do with the money that you now have, the equity you have in your house. You can pull it out and put it to work. Anyhow, that's what we're going to talk about. If you're catching us on replay, thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications bell. If you want to join us live, what you don't see, there's a chat room and a Q&A room where folks can ask me questions real time. Often it sits silent, and that's okay. I present my material. But some days people show up specific questions on stocks or other things finance, and I can answer it for you real time. And we do, of course, do a couple of trades every day. You saw in the chat this morning, I don't have anything I like long here. VXX would be the only thing I'd consider taking today as far as a trade, because I do think the market falls at the open. It's the last day trade. It's the last trading day, so I think we're going to see some window dressing, if you will, out of fund managers, which means there's going to be some selling. And I think the market's going to take a hit overall today, not a huge one. But VXX is the way to play that long and short. We have both Space, which was downgraded. Again, that's Virgin Galactic, which is SPCE. And we have Wish, which is Context Logic. There's a lawsuit out there. I think it's frivolous. So the stock's only down a couple percent. But those are a couple shorts I'll be watching at the open. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. welcome back, everybody. Here's your lineup card for today, 30 June, last day of the first half of 2021, and what a first half it's been, right? Across the board, I think we're up, in the teens, if you will, as far as the percentage for the year. Will that continue? No, we're not going to continue to. 2021 is not going to be that 35% year up, move up in the market, right? But so temper your expectations for the second half. But what are the positives? We started the year, we talked about stimulus, check, got it. We talked about beating COVID, check, pretty much. Yes, there's more variants and strains, but for the most part, life has returned to normal, and the economy is roaring open, right? We knew all that would happen. Third one was the stimulus bill, or excuse me, the infrastructure bill. Did we get that? Well, we're darn close, right? The 4th of July was the was the hope that we get something passed. I think that happens. It'll be feel good move out of Congress here in a couple days, so we shall see. But if we try to get that passed, and that's all the good news for the year, then it's inflation and taxes, right? As far as the exact headwind out there. So, that's how the year has gone. And I'm seeing a shout out to Luck, and we'll check that out here just in a second. Generally, that shout out's in a good way. I'm hoping it flew above $10 today. I know I'm being greedy, but I was wishing the other day that it would hold 9. I'm hoping it's above 10. We'll take a look here in a minute. All right. Thank you. On, let's see. Back to the show here. Make sure you have those windows open, the Q&A and the chat window, have them set up correctly. Sorry, yesterday I did a switch error and I inadvertently locked a bunch of people out. So sorry about that. So you had to catch it on replay. 969 on Luckin. I like it. Nice move up. straight road to 10, if you will. All right, standard disclaimer applies as a financial education presentation. You have to do your own due diligence before acting upon anything you hear this morning. Full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. All right, mission objectives: grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. The DIDI IPO, we talked about it in the open. We'll come back to it here in a minute, and then we talk about what's a HELOC. So we'll get both of those in today. Long-term investments we're going to talk about is the Palantir, how that performed, Asana, how that performed at the IPOs. Those were the same day. Roblox, Coin, very different IPOs, right? Successful, unsuccessful. And then Moonshots Capital is if you're getting in on that, then today is your last day. You have to have that subscription agreement signed. You don't necessarily have your account funded. You have to have everything in place. And again, that's how to take care, how to get in ahead of the IPO. So when you hear today that the world minted like 1,000 new multimillionaires out of the DIDI IPO, well, how you get in on that is you participate in these limited partnership funds, right? So you have to be an accredited investor, so it's not easy to qualify, but if you do, I can get you in on it. We'd have to move quickly though. All right, we've moved into the open, and with contingencies and academic resources are standard. All right, let's go over here. Here's how I have it set up for the day trading. I have VXX long and SPCE short. I'll change this to wish short, likely at the open, which is here in a little bit. All right, market power is higher, nothing new there. And of course, the charts, a little bit of negativity going into the last trading day of the first half of 2021. All right, over to the headlines. Let's take a look. Here's your headlines. They're in the red a little bit. We did have a couple of numbers that came out this morning. They did not really affect the market at all as far as the futures. No big impact. All right, Europe was up big yesterday, so that's just kind of selling off a little bit. We've got Asia. It looks mixed there. We've got bonds sitting right around just below that 1.5%. Oil sitting just above 70 there, and it's been holding that for a long time. I don't think that goes higher. I did have somebody reach out thinking it's going to go higher, and they laid out a very nice thesis. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it's high enough. Gold and silver are mixed, and then cryptos, it has been recovering. We could look at that big sell-off from yesterday, but have not seen any headlines that really affect that directly. Okay, Virgin Galactic, that's our short today. Double downgrades the stock to an underperform. Phone's blowing up over Luckin off to the side here. I'm trying not to look at it. I'm actually going to turn my phone upside down so I don't have to look at any more Luckin things. Seeing if there's a Luckin headline. Otherwise, we'll pull up the chart here after the open. Okay, let's look at some IPOs real quick. So DIDI, if you want to take it this, send me a message if you're like, yes, I want some. Otherwise, I'll just going to put you in it if it makes smart. If it's a smart decision, if it makes smart, goodness. If it's a smart decision to put your money in there, then I will. If not, then I won't. So Otherwise, we can let it open. So here's Palantir, very successful. IPO down around 10, had the unrealistic run up, kind of went into congestion, ran up again, went into congestion, sold off, kind of set a new low below 20 here, and then it's been powering higher here. So this is what I would say is this is, now it's at, this is how IPOs act. They're all over the place, and then for 6 months, they finally recover. We'll take a look at the other IPOs after we get to the market open, which crept up on me kind of quick. So, all right, give me a second to get set up for the market open here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time On Target play of the day. Here is the opening bell for today, Wednesday, June 30th, last day of the first half of 2021. I have two shorts for you today. First of all, 3 screens across the board. I have the 1 minute of the S&P 500, which is very slightly in the red. That's what you see here. Then we have Wish, which is Contact Logic, has a lawsuit filed against it. And then you have Space, SPCE, which is a double downgrade. I like the entry point here on Space, so let's take a look at it. All right, we peaked out at 45.25. We want to be down in at the, it's going to be pretty aggressive. If we get in at 44.80, that is a 40-cent short. So 44.80, again, this is a short. We've got the covering there. This covers the high of the day. If it makes a new high of the day, we'll adjust it. We're going to go 44.85. Again, this is aggressive. This is going to sell off. So 44.85 and 45.25, 40-cent stop is what we're using there. So 44.85, there it is. Get into the trade. We are in 44.85 short. And again, that's our short. And then 45.25 up here is our long of the day, the high of the day. If it powers above it, then it's over and we're back out of the trade. So manage accordingly. So this 45.25 has to hold. All right, getting the arrow drawn in here so you know which way we're going. If you didn't take it right away, we're almost out of the trade to the upside. So there it is. We busted out of this trade. So Wednesday's trade is a no-go. So kill that trade. And that's scrap because it's going to end up working there. So again, went for the aggressive entry like this was going to sell off hard at the initial, and it didn't, but this is going to go on to work, I bet you. All right, we got Wish opened up here at 13.24. It's only sold off about 12%, so it's not really striping down. But there it is, kind of striping down. So looks like that would have been our better one to try to be aggressive with, but 2020 hindsight, right? Okay, let's go. So we'll get rid of Wish here. So let's get rid of Space because I don't want to sit here and watch all the negativity of that big red X and see what's going on in Luck. We had a 969 print a second ago. Now we're above 10. Touched 1049 last night. Boom. Unfortunately, my intern took a personal day today. Otherwise, I'd have that note being sent to me right now as to what's going on in Luck. And because he listens, just like I do for sportscasters and feeding him, stats real time of what's going on. He listens to what I'm saying and then sends me the kind of notes for what's going on. So that's pretty cool. The phone is blowing up here over Luck. And again, I don't have the headline on why it's up so much. It's kind of weird. Every time we go to Vegas, Luckin seems to go up. That is not related. That's more happenstance than anything else. Okay, so what do I want out of Luckin? I want it to hold $10. There's obviously a headline out here. Holding 10 would be nice. Let's zoom out a little bit to see where we are on like a 20-day chart. It's been powering higher. So, it's back, in the 9 range. It's been holding that for this is a 20-day chart or so. Kind of did not hold 9. That was the breakdown. And then we have the big nice pop up today to 10. Does it hold 10? I don't know. I think probably 970 would be a nice move up. Certainly if the market turns around and sells off kind of hard, it's going to be tough for Luckin to power higher. Now, maybe you get a free Luckin coffee every time you get your DIDI, DIDI is your Uber over there in China. So I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. We'll have to come back to that as well. All right, let's see. The chat's blowing up. Maybe I'm getting some help here. Financial restatement. There we go. So that's all I've got coming in through the chat. Financial restatement. Well, that's good, right? Some history of the company is they were a $50 stock. Excuse me, $50 stock. They dropped down to, I think it went less than $1. It's been a while since I've actually talked about Luckin. Excuse me. But yeah, and then the audit concerns, they fired all their leadership. Everybody hated them. They lied about a bunch of stuff. Their books were cooked, and they're on a road to recovery. Well, that's what, I don't do a lot of value investing, but this has been my number one value investment. My, price point's down, I think, below $2 a share. So obviously anything that it goes up here is just complete gravy, which is super nice. All right. And I do see that they did have earnings not too long ago. What's that, 5 or 6 days ago? There's no dividend there. I was going to try to see if I can pull up the, see if it would give me the earnings. Let's say in June 22nd, it doesn't have the actual earnings pulled up there. So, okay. All right, so good news in the Luckin space. Hopefully it holds on 970 or so. 10 would be great. We shall see. Okay. Let's go back to space. I do have to check back in on one more time. Oh, yeah. Now let's see here. Okay, so it did bust out of there still, but all right, that's why you're out of it, right? You risk one R unit. So if your R unit is $100, you're out $100. If it's $1,000, you're out $1,000. But you bet basically place one R unit to work, and then you try to make 3 R's. So we would need this to get down to 43.80 or so to work, and it had a realistic chance to do that, but it did not happen. All right, let's go back out here and see what's going on in the real world. Switching now to long-term investing. There's Luckin plus 8%. That's kind of nice. I like it. High fives. Win is up a little bit. Win's not been performing all that well. We got to be patient for the first quarter earnings. If you wanted to go into moonshots or whatever and you had some win, that's generally what I sold for folks. Smith & Wesson been doing well lately. Other than that, a few names up. Let's see what we have to the downside. TQLB, that's a spec. AV is a drone maker, one of the biggest out there. That's gapping down pretty hard here. Let's see what's going on there. Excuse me for this cough. Oh, had earnings this morning, looks like. So gapping down off of that. Must not have the volume because it did not meet my filters this morning. MongoDB did. I can't remember. Oh, they issued some more shares at a lower price because the stock's been on fire. Trade Desk headed down. CRISPR Therapeutics headed down after being up significantly earlier. Did want to check on Mind Medicine. 353. I remember kind of getting into this around the 320 range, so that's not too bad that it sold off there from almost $4. Okay. Let's get rid of this and go back. I want to talk about IPO behavior again real quick. Pop up back here. So Palantir. So back to the DIDI IPO, and should you get on it? So $14 is the price. Now I like their price. We'll see if it opens at $14. If it opens at $14, it's just buy. If you can afford a $14,000 position, buy 1,000 shares and just hold it and wait. And you're probably going to have to hold it for months. And why I say months is you may be up, you may be down, but you need to give it some time to settle out. So again, 6 months later, now it kind of settled out, and now it's on a steady path higher for Palantir. If you look at the next one, Asan took a little longer. Again, Asan is a software firm. So it went down initially, right? So it didn't look good for a long time, and then it kind of powered higher. Here's its congestion. 6 months later, what is it doing? It's just been going straight up for the past month and a half. So, it's almost the point of selling up here because it's gone up so much. But, that's a very different look for an IPO. Get into the next one, Roblox has made us a bunch of money as well. Opened up at 64.50, kind of had some congestion between 60 and 80 here. Went all the way up over 100, back to 80, and now it's kind of powering higher. It's been out for like 3 months, right? So I do think this continues on up. I think the bottom is now in, like the other charts that you've seen, and it can go higher. And Coin even lately, Coinbase, is a terrible IPO. They got super greedy. They'll probably end up made fun of it for a while, but look at this. So everybody who got in on the initial IPO is down money, but it has gotten some love lately, right? And finally, that little tail right there is one of the moving averages. So you have to exist long enough to have a moving average. So it's finally there. It's popped up lately. But what's the trend in this? The trend is down. It's all high risk because of the relationship to the cryptocurrencies. If cryptocurrency takes over the world, Coinbase will do great. If it does, crypto doesn't, then Coinbase is not going to be where you want your money. So I participated in it, think it was going to be hot. Everybody I put in it, including myself, lost money. So you know what? We don't stick with losers around here and just continue to hope they turn around. You ditch the losers, let the winners ride. So that's the philosophy there. So what's going to happen with DIDI? I don't know, but I do think it's got huge upside. I like the Chinese middle class is huge, 6 times the U.S., I believe, is a number that I see thrown around. It's not a bad place to have some money. All right, last I will talk about, because my voice is giving out and the stupid Pepsi I'm drinking instead of a water is not helping. So that's why I'm having so many issues with the stupid cough. Here's the basic. You can get a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit. And again, don't do this if you don't want, but if you have other uses for capital other than sitting in your house, then go ahead and do this. Now, the easy one is, if you do a cash out refi, that's hard, right? It involves a bunch of paperwork. It's going to take 30 to 45 days. It used to take a lot less, but they're getting slammed again because interest rates are down. Mine, I'm doing a refi. I'm in the middle of a refi that I've been at for over a month now, and I just dropped down below 3 on a 30-year fix to a 2.875 loan. So I'm working to pull a bunch of cash out, but there's some limitations in Texas because our there's a max cash out before you can go to a jumbo loan because our house is appreciated almost, over double what we paid for it. So trying to get some money out of there to put it to work. Well, I'm gonna turn around and put it in the swimming pool is what I'm gonna do. But I'm trying to pull out cash that way. And in addition to that, you can also go in and get either a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit. Home equity loans are kind of a dinosaur. Nobody gets those anymore, but home equity line of credit is pretty nice because basically you're opening a credit card on your house, if you will, at a very favorable interest rate, much like your credit card. Use it if you want. Most people don't open it unless they have a plan for using it. But if you're putting in a pool, you could certainly, instead of taking out a loan for a signature loan for like 7 years, buying a pool and then turn around paying that off on a monthly basis, you can just open up a home equity line of credit and then just pay off the interest. And then eventually you can pay that down, or you just leave it open until you sell your house, 10 years from now, and then you pay it off then. You really don't care. The only thing that would change is if interest rates went up significantly. Obviously, if you have a home equity loan sitting at 4%, you couldn't care less. If you have a home equity loan sitting at 5.5%, well, yeah, you do. Now you kind of need to start paying that thing off. And of course, if it jumped up to anything higher than 5.5, then you need to treat it almost like credit card debt and just get in there and kill it off. So manage yourself accordingly, right? And if you're not good with debt, then don't use it. But it really is leverage to get money out of your house and into something else. So consider. If you have any questions, reach out to me. All right, that's all I've got for you today. The voice is officially gone. Go luck and go. We'll see if looking on another screen. So it's not holding 10 yet, but for lucking that is. But we'll see how it ends up. All right, with that, I'm gonna let you go. We'll see you guys back tomorrow on Thursday, the first day of the second half of 2021. So with that, you guys have a good one.